our leader celebrates Americans losing their livelihoods because he can't take a joke. Now he's openly rooting for NBC to fire Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers and the hundreds of Americans who work for their shows who don't make millions of dollars. And I hope that if that happens, or if there's even any hint of that happening, you will be 10 times as loud as you.
He promised to drain the swamp, but ended up building a golf course on top of it. The only thing he's drained is the nation's patience. Picture this. The President of the United States tweeting at 3 a.m. about his poll numbers while the economy performs a roller coaster act built entirely out of trust me. Jimmy Kimmel doesn't need exaggeration here. He just holds up a mirror, and somehow the reflection files for bankruptcy.
Our government is now officially shut down because we don't have funding to pay the federal workers. Trump really is running the country like it's one of his businesses. He said he would. Just to give you some perspective, the government being shut down is even worse than when it's up and running. Republicans would like you to believe that Democrats shut the government down, but the bill they wanted the Democrats to sign would knock out about 15 million Americans from health insurance.
Kimmel's dismantling starts with the obvious. A president who preaches transparency but covers more things up than sunscreen in July. The man treats classified documents like souvenirs, stacking them next to his golf trophies as if they're collectibles. He claims he's protecting national security, maybe from the actual nation. Kimmel nails the irony perfectly. The only wall Trump truly built was between himself and the truth.
The other point of outrage in Washington today was the arraignment of Trump's former FBI chief turned enemy, James Comey. At Trump's command, Comey has been indicted on charges related to authorizing a leak of classified information, even though investigators found insufficient evidence that he leaked classified information. And the prosecution's lead witness says he never leaked classified information. Other than that, though, lock him up.
Then comes the economy. That mythical land where math meets mythology. Every time Trump declares it's booming, another factory quietly closes. He brags about job growth like it's a miracle, but the miracle workers are still waiting for their paychecks. Kimmel slices through the bragging, comparing Trump's economic genius to someone boasting about finding loose change under the couch. Growth by accident isn't a strategy, it's coincidence with a press release.
Thankful that we are in the strong, capable, darkly bruised baby hands of the orangutan in the Oval Office as health care for millions of Americans hangs in the balance. Our president is scheduled for his annual checkup tomorrow at Walter Reed Hospital. This will be his second yearly checkup this year. He had one 6 months ago, but it feels like it's been a year, so they decided to...
And then there's the press, Trump's favorite enemy until they say something nice about him. Every journalist is fake news until they flatter him. Then suddenly they're patriots. Kimmel dives into this hypocrisy with surgical sarcasm. Trump claims to fight misinformation, yet manufactures it daily. Neatly packaged, pre-approved, and signed with his own ego. His idea of censorship? Deleting reality.
Comey faces up to 5 years in prison. Today he pleaded not guilty, and the prosecutor in the case is a Trump favorite. Former Miss Colorado third runner-up Lindsay Halligan, who has no experience in prosecution at all. There she is. She was an insurance lawyer, but she's very good-looking. Trump picks his lawyers like he's casting a reboot of Suits.
Trump picks his lawyers like he's casting a reboot of Suits. Foreign policy, that's where Kimmel really unloads. Trump approaches diplomacy the way toddlers approach sharing, loud, impulsive, and occasionally dangerous. He shakes hands with dictators like he's auditioning for a buddy movie while alienating allies faster than a bad dinner guest. Kimmel compares his global strategy to a failed group project where the loudest student insists they did all the work. The world watches, half horrified, half entertained. Like it's an international improv show no one signed up for.
And then it was Trump's turn to ratchet up the rhetoric with fiery images conjured from no one has any idea where.
One thing I have to say is that Washington, D.C. was almost as bad. I don't know what could be worse than Portland. You don't even have sewers anymore. They don't even put glass up. They put plywood on their windows.
Poor people, they look out the window, they see wood. They don't have glass. I don't know what's scarier, the idea that he's making this all up or that he might actually believe this stuff. There are no stores in Portland. It's as if he's getting his intelligence briefings from reruns of The Walking Dead.
To Trump, climate change is just weather being rude. While scientists raise alarms, he tears up protections like parking tickets. Kimmel jokes that it's the first presidency measured in degrees Fahrenheit, where melting ice caps are treated as decor. Then there's healthcare. Trump promised miracles and delivered paperwork. His idea of affordable care? Be rich enough not to need it. Every reform ends the same, empathy vanishes and someone else pays the bill.
Serious, but the president using the Department of Justice to prosecute people he doesn't like is very concerning, especially if, personally speaking, you are one of the people he doesn't like. No one makes enemies like Donald Trump. He even has a problem with the QAnon shaman now. Remember the guy in the horns who stormed the Capitol? Well, he's doing great, first of all, but he's suing his beloved president, Trump. He's suing Trump.
Trump's obsession with size and numbers turns politics into a competition nobody asked for. Kimmel mocks a president who measures patriotism in square footage and leads with insecurity. Even his victimhood feels rehearsed, the most powerful man alive acting hunted while living behind fortress walls. His rallies? Therapy sessions for a fragile ego, complete with slogans that sound like wrestling promos. It's not leadership, it's Vegas denial dressed as patriotism.
In our prayers. So that's how you do it. If you live in one of the war-ravaged communities the president has or is planning to occupy with troops, we want to see just how frightening it is. So make a video, post it to YouTube with the hashtag #ShowMeYourHellhole, and look for a message from us so we can share your nightmare with the world. And of course, all of this nonsense is an attempt to distract us from the Epstein files. He doesn't want us to see.
The investigations, the denials, the witch hunts. Kimmel doesn't have to exaggerate because the truth already sounds like satire. Every scandal is the biggest in history, and every critic a traitor. Facts to Trump are furniture rearranged to fit the moment. He burns toast and calls it the best breakfast ever made. Kimmel lets irony do the work. A man claiming to fight for workers while rewarding the wealthy. It's not reform, it's selfishness with better branding.
Dancing Donald wasn't the only Trump on hand to fire the sailors up.
Hooyah, Navy! Hooyah, Navy! Hooyah, Navy!
Hooyah means help me in Slovenian. The president landed in a chopper to the tune of Danger Zone from Top Gun. Kenny Hoggins then bragged about being in better shape than Obama. He took a victory lap for his war on woke and once again proved that he's known more than all the generals combined for years by taking credit for a mission that he in no way accomplished.
Immigration becomes unintentional comedy gold. A wall that costs more than wars and does less than a traffic cone. Kimmel calls it a monument to fear disguised as patriotism. On social media, Trump turns Twitter into the world's most dangerous open mic night. Policy by impulse, diplomacy by emoji. Outrage trends, chaos settles, and disbelief fades into routine. Kimmel sums it up best. What was once shocking is now just Tuesday.
Closed down the House of Representatives and is refusing to swear in a Democrat who won a special election in Arizona because hers would be the deciding vote to have a vote to release the Epstein files. He was confronted on that yesterday by the two senators from Arizona, Mark Kelly and Ruben Gallego.
Guys, we got to get the government open and turn the lights on so we can get everybody back here and get to regular session.
Stop covering up for the pedophiles.
There's not, that's ridiculous.
Nobody's covering up for pedophiles.
We
know. She knows. You know that she is the.
Okay, I'm going to get back to work. These gentlemen had a publicity stunt here.
That's right. We don't want any publicity stunts there.
Trump's cabinet runs like musical chairs. Only no one wants to sit. Loyalty lasts a tweet, and every firing gets marketed as destiny. Kimmel calls it government through a revolving door of confusion. Instability becomes patriotic, hypocrisy becomes policy. He preaches unity while selling division, empathy while staging photo ops. Even disaster relief turns into theater, tossing paper towels like party favors. Kimmel doesn't need to exaggerate. The footage does it for him.
that he in no way accomplished.
Please remember, I wrote about Osama bin Laden exactly 1 year ago, 1 year before he blew up the World Trade Center. And I said, you got to watch Osama bin Laden. And the fake news would never let me get away with that statement unless it was true. But I said 1 year before to Pete Hegseth, I said 1 year before, where's Pete? In the book, I wrote, whatever the hell the title, I can't tell you. But I can tell you there's a page in there devoted to the fact that I saw somebody named Osama bin Laden, and I didn't like it.
He didn't like it. And you can read all about it in the book he wrote but can't remember the title of.
Kimmel's humor thrives on contrast. The loudest man saying the least, the self-proclaimed strongman trembling at critique. The jokes land because they're real. On the world stage, Trump turns diplomacy into reality TV. Every handshake a cliffhanger. Every outrage a sequel. He mistakes fame for success, chaos for control. Kimmel's satire hits hardest by treating absurdity as normal, because that's the real punchline. How nonsense became routine.